So, Frank, why don't you introduce yourself for the crowd?
I was born in 19... Never mind. My name is Frank Schmitt. I'm the proud father of Tom Schmitt, sometimes. And this is my friend, Chad, who was a wonderful boy.
What about your other children?
I have two daughters who are the stars in my life because they live 1,000 miles away.
Alright, so you want to go ahead and tell us where you were born?
I was born on Long Island, New York.
Okay. And why don't you give us an inkling of what your childhood was like?
My childhood was a lot different than your childhood. When I was a child, we had a lot of free times. We had a lot of activities that were non-supervised, non-structured. We were neighborhood centered, unlike your childhood where everything was planned and you needed car transportation to get there. Very different upbringing.
So, you said it was like a more relaxing time, a more open period, as opposed to now, a lot of closed-minded people.
Well, I would say people haven't changed that much, but the way we do things have changed a lot. Every era has its issues and has its risks, but when I was your age, it was a simpler time, not as complicated as life is today.
Alright, so, something I like to talk about is your four brothers, growing up in a household with 4 brothers and no sisters. So can you tell what it's like around the house?
There were 5 boys growing up in the house.
Messy.
We lived in a modest house, not a lot of room. The challenge as the 4th of 5 boys was to get enough to eat, because the older boys would take all the food off the table. But you learned to be quick when you were the small ones.
Or a guest of the family.
Alright, thank you, Donna. Yeah, so tell us where you went to college, Frank.
I graduated from Cornell University in Ithaca, New York.
Ithaca. And how many years?
It was a long time ago.
Alright, and how did you afford your college career?
Well, that's another interesting story. You know, the amount of money that you guys have to pay to go to college is much more than what we had to pay to go to college. Cornell, even though it was an Ivy League school, it was a New York State land-grant university. Because I was a New York State resident, I was able to get a pretty good deal on my education.
Well, if you can recall, do you know how much it was for you to go per year as compared to now?
Listen, I can recall it very well because I paid every dollar of it, and I earned every dollar of it.
And you still managed to graduate in 4 years?
And I couldn't afford to graduate in any more than 4 years. But the escalation of cost of college has been dramatic, far outpacing the escalation of costs of everything else. So your university is almost $60,000 a year. My education at Cornell, that I can recollect, was about $11,000 for a year.
Okay. And what would you say about the college experience back around your time compared to now?
Well, I wouldn't know how to make the difference because I'm not experienced in the college now.
I mean, from what you know about the present day college experience.
My guess is it's probably the same nonsense. A bunch of young people out on their own for the first time, and having a lot of free time, a lot less supervision than you're accustomed to growing up. So the old trick is to stay safe.
Stay safe. So you say that it was kind of similar. All right, so I'm going to lead into your career. What did you end up doing right out of college?
I graduated college on a Friday and got on a jet plane on Monday morning for my job to go to Argentina.
You had it lined up, ready to go right when you got out?
Yep. Graduated on a Friday, started work Monday morning.
That's pretty cool. Impressive. And where did you go from there, career-wise?
Still working. And I'm still getting on jets.
Well, how about like from job to job? What has your transition been?
I've only had 2 jobs. It was 10 years with my first company and the rest of the time with my current company.
Okay. And what are your plans for the future? Do you have any plans for retirement?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's hear it. Just give us all.
We're going to go to living in a Winnebago for 2 years.
No.
We're giving our children an 800 cell phone number so they can contact us in emergencies only.
No.
And then we'll decide what we're going to do after that.
No.
Okay. So one thing I've always been curious about is what it's like to give birth to your first child. I thought I'd ask you that since you're my father.
Well, we had 3 children. Each one was quite painful for my wife. But I must say that when all the children were born, I was in the delivery room.
That's
And
good.
experienced the birth of each of my kids.
3 biggest mistakes you
I
ever
didn't feel any pain.
It was, I would say they're mistakes. I would just say that it's a package deal.
All right. One thing I've always been interested in asking you is what was it like to grow up in the 70s and 80s? You know, time of a lot of new ideas